So if you're just joining us again, that tornado warning for the next 15 minutes or so, a little bit less than that for Cumberland County. Now, around the rest of the region, again, what you see is mainly just light to moderate shower activity, some heavier showers over Wake County, also into the border counties up into southern Virginia, but no other warnings are in effect right now except for Cumberland County. That's the good news. So far, this hasn't turned into a major outbreak of severe weather. But let's take you outside to a DOT cams around the region. And this is Ramsey Street in Fayetteville where the tornado warning in effect. And you can see that rain really picking up again. Visibility's down. It looks like to me, Scott, about a half mile or less, and some of that heavy rain there coming down along with the, you see the flag there blowing in the wind. Nothing severe, nothing damaging with that, but certainly going to make for some tough travel there.
Yeah, and the thing is, with this type of system, you don't normally see this in the month of December, but this is very, very moist air for this time of year, and that's why we're seeing the very, very heavy rain with all the moisture, with dew points, a measure of moisture in the 60s. You don't see that very often in the month of December, but all that tropical moisture is headed northward, and the reason why we have a possible severe threat with the possibility of tornadoes is the winds are moving out of, or blowing out of the southeast at the surface, but as you go up, those winds turn with height, and that is the potential for some of these storms to start to rotate and spin up a quick tornado. If we can, you're looking at First Alert Doppler XP. The rain is now moving through Fayetteville, but let's go to this our other system, Weather Source 2, and I'll show you the velocities also. Now, this takes you down in towards, we'll go ahead and pan up to give you an idea. This is the warning right now in Fayetteville, and there's a little marker. That's an upper level marker. That's not at the surface, so that's an indication that at least there's some rotation in the upper levels of the storm. That's moving right along parallel to I-95, but as we head farther south, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the radar here so you give an idea of what we're looking at here. There, the rain. Now, here's another cell that we're looking at, Chris. This is in far eastern Robeson County, and this may be the next one that we're going to be watching. Now, certainly no indication of a tornado on the ground with this, but we are seeing these little areas of red and green once again, and this is what we call a little couplet. So this is what we're going to be watching also. This may be the next one that
it looks like it's tracking also northeast. May go more somewhat into, if you track that, probably more into Bladen County, yes, potentially, Scott. But that one is one we'll be watching. And as you mentioned, we've been talking, the threat of severe weather is going to go with us through the early evening hours. We're all under a tornado watch until 7 o'clock this evening. Go back to Weather 3, and again, this is where we have the tornado warning for Cumberland County. It looks really like the city of Fayetteville now in terms of tornado that's passed rapidly to the north and northeast, as Gilbert Bays mentioned. This is where the strongest part of the storm is now heading into Harnett County, and so far no warning has been issued, but these are some of the areas that will be impacted by potentially at least some gusty winds and very heavy rain, if nothing else. So you want to at least be aware of that. Irwin, Bowie's Creek, Coates, Anger, Willow Springs, you're getting very close to Wake County then, southern Wake County into parts of Wake County, if it can hold together. There are some indications that it has weakened just a bit as it moves to the north. And so far, we've had no reports of any damage, no reports of any tornado touchdowns with this. And that's the good news. We'll keep on top of it through the afternoon hours. But at least so far, we're not seeing a whole lot in the way of that going on. But that's the only warning we have. You see, there are widespread showers across the region. If we can go to Weather 1, you can see what's actually going on across the whole region right now. We've got a very intense storm system now near the Gulf of Mexico that's actually moving northeastward towards us. It'll move through the western Carolinas. On the west side of that storm, it was so cold it snowed in New Orleans today, and it's stuck. And you'll see pictures of that this evening on Eyewitness News. But on the east side of the storm, you see these showers and storms rotating in from Georgia. They appear to have weakened a little bit in terms of the storms that have come out of South Carolina. If you look at those last few frames, you see things aren't quite as intense as they were, but we still got some showers, some storms in South Carolina that'll be rotating in. If you look into Mississippi, that is snow in southern Mississippi. While we're in the 60s, it's snowing in the 30s there. For snow lovers, probably doesn't seem that that's right. But again, our main concern is severe weather through the afternoon hours. We go back to Weather 3, and that's where we have the tornado warning highlighted there over Cumberland County. This warning is going to expire in about 7 or 8 minutes, and it is encouraging that it has not been extended into Harnett County just yet. So a sign potentially that the storm has weakened just a little bit. There are other storms developing out across the region, but as you can see in Cumberland County right now, we've got mainly a very heavy rain that's traveling along and east of Interstate 95 and stretching up towards Lillington and Irwin, too. That's been the case through much of the day across the region, with pockets of heavier rain that go through the area, and then it stops raining, and then it starts up again. So far, the airport's picked up half to 3/4 of an inch of rain or more in other areas, and we're all under that flash flood watch as we head through the next through the evening hours, as a matter of fact. The flash flood watch in effect through midnight. Scott's still looking for some rotation, but again, it doesn't appear. They've still got those markers, though, so there is still some rotation, at least aloft, with this, as you can see on our radar screen there.
And a lot of times in these type of situations, you get a thunderstorm that starts to tighten up that rotation. It'll make its way down to the surface. That's when you can have a tornado. It weakens, and then it may start to tighten up once again. So we're going to have to keep on this and make sure that this signature, as long as this signature is here, we need to take this very seriously. And it looks like it's moving. The track is, you can see some of the towns moving up towards the Bun Level area as you head your way farther north and eventually into Bowie's Creek. Not saying that this will necessarily make its way all the way into your region, but as you can see here, as we put it in the motion, it moves out of Fayetteville and then it moves to the north, and we start to see those markers indicating at least some rotation in the mid to upper levels of the storm. Let's go ahead and zoom in, and we'll put in some roads here to give you an idea exactly where this is located.
And you can see, Scott, there just now that tornado warning. Didn't mean to interrupt you there, but it has been sort of chopped off there for areas from Fayetteville southward, no longer under the tornado warning. The National Weather Service has just extended it there now, or kept it up for northern Cumberland County. If you're in Harnett County, though, you need to, again, be on the lookout just in case this storm. Now, there's a severe thunderstorm warning. It looks like it's for eastern Robinson and western sections of Bladen County. That's a severe thunderstorm warning for those areas. But the tornado warning, Harnett County especially, in case they issue a warning, it did appear that this is weakened, but it could ramp back up. And we saw that, if you remember, just a few weeks ago with the cluster of storms that moved down east and caused the devastating tornadoes that killed 2 people. The thunderstorms would weaken for a time, or at least a little bit, drop a tornado, then that tornado would lift, and then another one would form. And we ended up with, 5 tornadoes that evening across areas along and east of Interstate 95.
And also, those 5 tornadoes basically form from the same thunderstorm cell. So that's what we were talking about, how they'll form a tornado, they'll weaken, and then another one might form. We call that a tornado family. And not saying that's happening here, but certainly we still are seeing at least some rotation here in northern Cumberland County, getting ready to cross the county line here. We'll go ahead and zoom in this into Harnett County, and again, this you can see how that box has shrunken. There also, like you said, there's that severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Robinson County. National Weather Service in Wilmington has also issued a tornado warning, not for our area, but for the same part of this line farther south. So we'll have to watch that as it moves through eastern North Carolina as well.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, as you zoom in there, Scott, one thing you want to remember, too, around here sometimes tornadoes can be masked by heavy rainfall. We can show you that. I think if we had that DOT cam up from Ramsey Street in Fayetteville, there was some very heavy rain there. That may have, it looks like it's diminished just a little bit, but many times here, the tornadoes can be masked by very heavy rain. You're going to get into the heavy rain, and then you can't see the tornado because the rain's coming down so hard. Plus, especially from the Triangle north, we're in the Piedmont where we've got some hills, makes it tough to see. It's a little flatter to the south and east of the Triangle. And, of course, we've got many, many trees. So tornadoes are not as easy to see here as they are in areas out to the west. So sometimes you don't want to rely ever on just a visual with a tornado warning or the potential for a tornado. If you're under a warning, you want to go ahead and take cover. But that storm, just about in the next few minutes, is going to jump the border there into Harnett County. So far, no warning there, but still getting some evidence of at least some rotation.
Some rotation. I'm going to go ahead and lay down some areas that people are familiar with in this area. Over towards Carlos, over towards the Linden area, just on the border of Harnett and Cumberland County. And again, you can see this is moving very rapidly, as Gilbert was saying, and he was right in the middle of it earlier as it moved through Fayetteville, moving very rapidly off towards the north and east. And you can see there it is, this area of concern that we're looking at is just now on the northern edge of this tornado warning. And so far, the National Weather Service has not extended this warning into Cumberland, or excuse me, Harnett.
No, they haven't just yet. Could happen any any minute, though, unless they, we're still seeing some indication. And the National Weather Service, like anyone, was play it safe. Anytime they see any type of rotation, they're going to issue a warning if it's a good signature there. Remember, if you are under a tornado warning, if threatening weather approaches, safest place to be, lowest floor, interior room on the lowest floor of your house, whatever building you're in. Generally, that's a hall closet or bathroom. What the thinking is, you want to get as many walls between you and the potential tornado as you can. And many times we see that with nothing left of a house or a structure except some interior walls still standing, and many lives have been saved from folks taking that type of cover.